Welcome students. Today we'll talk about the elements of innate immunity. Moving to this topic, we first discuss what is immunology. Now, immunology is a branch of science where we deal with the defense mechanism of our body. Whenever the foreign organisms or any pathogenic substance enter our body has a ready-made defense mechanism to protect it from that outside organism. So this whole mechanism comes under immunology. Now, what are the types of immunity we have? We have basically two types. One is from which we have from our birth, that is innate immunity, and second type is what we gain after an infection, that is adaptive or acquired immunity. So it is basically two types, innate and acquired immunity. Now differences are basic. First, innate immunity is which we have, which is the basic barriers which protect our body or which protect ourselves, whereas adaptive immunity is the response which we have, which our body have whenever there is a foreign organism. So here we deal with the elements of innate immunity. Now the elements of innate immunity. What comprises of the innate immunity? Now it has physical barrier, chemical mediators, cellular defenses and inflammatory barriers. These are the four basic elements of innate immunity. We will deal each with the detail. Now physical barrier. Physical barriers comprises of the first line of defense, which has a skin and the mucous membrane. Now this is the first line of defense, means whenever the organism will try to enter our body, then our body skin as well as the mucous membrane will inhibit the entrance. That is the first barrier. And skin has some glands such as the sweat gland and the sebaceous gland. This gland secretes some liquid or chemicals that contains hydrolytic enzymes and lysozymes, and it has a pH which is acidic. So this whole structure or composition of skin, that is the acidic pH, secretion of sebaceous glands and hydrolytic enzymes, all this help to defend the body while entering of a pathogen. So the pathogenic organism is unable to survive in this type of atmosphere. Second is mucous membrane. Our respiratory system has cilia. Whenever an organism try to enter our body, it will repel it. The movement of cilia will help it to move it out from our body. Conjunctiva, that is our eyes. Our eyes has lacrimal fluids that comes in the form of tears. Now this tears has lysozymes which will help in degradation of pathogen, antibodies it has which will help in degradation of pathogen. So overall this mucous membranes will help in inhibiting the entrance of the pathogen inside our body. Next is chemical mediators. Now, the chemical mediators comprises of complement system, cytokines, pattern related molecules, acute phase proteins, lysozymes, etc. Now, what is complement system? Complement system is a separate elaborated topic which will definitely deal with any of the in the topics or in the continuing videos. It is a system where our body has some proteins, and those proteins will trigger the activity of another proteins in a pathway form, and ultimately that will result in degradation of that pathogenic cell by forming and membrane attack complex known as MAC. It will degrade the cell membrane of the pathogen, ultimately degrading the entire pathogenic cell. Next is cytokines. Now, cytokines are low molecular weight proteins and they are soluble proteins. Examples are monokines, lymphokines, interleukins. These are different names as per they have been secreted. If it is secreted by a lymphoid cells, then it is known as lymphokines. If it is if its action is between two lymphoid cells, or then it is interleukins. Likewise, they are named. What is the function of it? If there is secretion of interferons, it will work against the viral infection. If there is secretion of cytokines, it will help the migration of WBCs, that is the white blood cells. As well as this cytokines are required for the immune regulations of innate and acquired immunity. What are the WBCs? How these WBCs are secreted by the process of hematopoiesis? I have a separate video on hematopoiesis. If you want, you can go through it. Next comes the pattern recognition molecule. Now, recognition means one has to identify. What will be identified? Identified will be the pattern. The pattern is conserved among organisms. That organism has some pattern which is a conserved sequence and will always be present in that organism, that is recognized and recognized by PAM. That is pathogen associated molecular pattern. Examples are MBL and CRP. These are the mannose binding lectin or C-reactive protein. They will help. These are the circulatory protein which will recognize the pattern and then it will bind to the microbial surfaces, resulting in opsonization. So ultimately the pathogen which has been entered is been destroyed. Next is toll-like receptors. These receptors are the signaling receptors. Now what they do? The basically of there are two types, TLR4 and TLR2. Now they signals that the human body has some bacterial lipopolysaccharide or heat shock proteins. If in our body there is any presence of bacterial lipopolysaccharide or heat shock protein, then it will be signaled by TLR4. If it has bacterial lipoproteins or peptidoglycan, then it will be signaled by TLR2. Now, once this toll-like receptors has identified there is some pathogenic substance present inside our body, how it is recognized? Because bacterial liposaccharide is not naturally present in our body. It will be only present if the bacteria has infected us. So, if this receptors has identified that some bacterial lipopolysaccharide is present in our body, then it is sure that we have been infected. Then our other systems of the immunology will help in cleaving that bacteria or destroying that bacteria. Next is cellular defenses. Now, the cellular defenses comprises of some leukocytes, that is neutrophils, macrocytes, monophages and intestines. Now, how they function? Whenever a pathogen has entered our body, it will get entrapped. If the cellular defenses is activated, then the cells of the immune system, basically neutrophil macrophages, they will entrap the pathogen. Once it has entrapped, then it forms phagosome. Then subsequently it will form phagolysosome, and once there are phagolysosome, then the enzymes present in the lysosomic units will kill the pathogen and then it is degraded. So this degradation might require oxygen. If it is required oxygen, then it is known as oxygen dependent killing mechanism. If does not depend on the oxygen, then it is oxygen independent killing mechanism. Next is inflammatory barriers. Now inflammation. Why there is inflammation? Inflammation has some characteristics. Means it will have pain, it will have redness, it will have swelling and it will have heat. That is, the temperature of that portion will be slightly high. Redness is also known as erythema and swelling is known as edema. So why all these characters occurs? So why there is pain? The vascular diameter will increase, result in blood flow. Due to the rush of the blood, the area will get heated and it will attain a color of red. If at the same time the permeability of that blood vessel will increase due to vasodilation, that is vascular diameter increasing, the permeability of the blood vessel will increase, which will help in movement of the proteins, that will result in local swelling, and there is accumulation of the blood proteins, and this will result in defense mechanism. Now the third point is the endothelial cell lining of the local blood vessels will stimulate some cell adhesion molecules. So to the blood vessel lining, there is some cell adhesion molecules that has been activated, and it will help in movements of the blood cells from the blood vessels to the tissue, because infection has been created in the tissues. So to the tissues there should be movement of the cells, and that is done with the expression of the cell adhesion proteins. Next is activated macrophages. Activated macrophages will help in activation of chemokines, that will result in activation of neutrophils. They will attract monocytes, dendritic cells. At the end, they will pick the antigen, move it to the lymph nodes. The lymph node is the place of antigen-antibody interaction. It is a secondary lymphoid organ, and once it has reached the lymph node, then it is exposed to lymphocytes. So there will be destroying the foreign organism, that is the antigen. There will be a separate videos on the organs of lymphoid cells, that lymphoid organs, that is primary as well as secondary. Now there are two mediators, one is histamine and another is kinase. Now what histamine is, whenever there is tissue injury, it is released by the cell. If there is a tissue injury, then the cells present there will release histamines. Kinins are present in the blood plasma in the inactive form. Once there has been infection, they will stimulate, and they are responsible for the pain associated with inflammation, because there is high amount of kinins released, so there is pain. As well as vasodilation, means the diameter of the vessels will increase and the permeability of the capillaries will definitely increase, because if there is no permeability, then the immune system cells cannot move to the tissues where the infection has carried out. Now the immune systems of the adaptive immunity. The till previous point we have talked about the innate immunity, that is our own barriers. Now when there is foreign organism has entered our body, there are two type of immunity which we start with. One is humoral. Humoral comes when there is antibody is associated for killing of the pathogen. If the antibody is associated for killing of the pathogen, then that mode is known as humoral. Now antibody is secreted by B cells. So B cells and circulatory antibodies are related with humoral. The second part is cellular and cell mediated. Here cells are responsible for killing. Now what are those cells? They are basically T cells. So these T cells will help in secretion of cytokines and affect the other cells, which will give rise to the immune system. So basically adaptive immunity comprises of both humoral as well as cell mediated immunity. Now here comes the differences between innate and adaptive. I have always told that innate is the primary barrier which protects our body from infection. So it is non-specific. It is not specific for any particular antigen, whereas adaptive is very much specific. So the response rate in innate, which is the ready-made defense system, is very fast, whereas adaptive, it will take some time for formation of antibodies. Now diversity, innate is the basic, so it is a limited diversity, whereas adaptive is high diversity. Then memory, innate does not have any memory, whereas adaptive immune systems have the memory. Cell types which are involved are phagocytes, NK cells in innate, whereas adaptive will have B cell and T cell and antigen presenting cells, because antibodies are basically required and cell mediated immunity are required for adaptive responses. Now distribution, innate immunity is found in vertebrates as well as invertebrates, whereas adaptive is only found in jawed vertebrates. It does not mean that jawed vertebrates does not have an innate immunity. It has adaptive with innate, whereas vertebrates and invertebrates does not have the adaptive immunity. It have only and only innate immunity. If you find this explanation good, then do share, and if there is any problem, if you face some problem, if you need some re-explanation, you can do the comment, like it and subscribe. Thank you.